Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. This story is called The Third Telegraph Pole. Now, the longest Italian river is the River Po. It starts in the Western Alps, and 400 miles later, it empties into the Adriatic. But it's an ancient and slow river, and it meanders slowly across its valley. And its valley is 18,000 square miles in area. It's the population heartland of Italy. A third of its population live there, and there are many cities: Turin, Milan, Parma, Modena. But for every city, there are 1,000 villages that nobody has ever heard of. Fabriconi is one of those villages. Its population even today is barely 600, and back in the time this story was told, it was 300 or so. And they were mostly engaged in agriculture. The valley was rich and fertile, but it needed watering with human sweat. And it was said of the people of Fabriconi that they were no different from other Italian villages, in that there were saints and sinners, but all their dogs had souls. A boy was cycling along the Fabriconi road. It was a beautiful, hot Italian summer's day. The sun was high in the sky like a fireball, and the sky was that hard blue you associate with Italian skies, and the boy was hot. And when he approached the third telegraph pole, he happened to notice that a plum tree was growing out of a nearby orchard overhanging the road. It looked full of fruit, so he stopped, got off his bicycle, which fell into the dust. But even though he jumped up, he couldn't reach this low hanging branch. But just then a young girl came out. Well, not a young girl, more of a young woman, older but taller than him. "Signorina," he called out, "will you give me a leg up to this plum tree?" She smiled. He was so polite. She put her two hands together and lowered it so that he could put his foot in. And then he reached up, and next minute he was sitting around her neck, on her shoulders, picking the plums. They were ripe, they were juicy, they were yellow, golden plums. And as he picked them, he stuffed them inside his shirt. And then slowly he climbed down. "Put your apron out," he said, "and I will give you half of these plums." "No, thank you," she said. "Don't you like plums?" "No, I do like plums. I can eat all the plums I like, because this is my plum tree." "Oh," said the boy. And he looked at the girl. Her face was open and honest, and she had the deepest blue eyes that were like the blue of the Italian sun, but soft and not hard. The boy could feel and hear his heart beating against the plums that were inside his shirt. "Will you be my girlfriend?" he said. She smiled. "I'm very honored," she said, "but there are quite a few years between us. You are 13. I'm 14. Yes, you are 14, but you are still wearing short trousers. And I'm 19. If we were boyfriend and girlfriend, my friends would say rude words to me and throw stones at me. I should protect you. Look," he said. And he picked up a stone and he pointed up to the insulator on the telegraph pole. And with a single shot, he hit it and it exploded. "You would protect me," she said. "Thank you. But it would be better if you were to ask me to be your girlfriend when you were 18. "All right," he said. "I'll come back when I'm 18. 4 years' time. It'll be the 25th of October. Can you remember that?" "Yes," she said. He got onto his bike. He cycled away and he waved to her. "Goodbye," he said. "Goodbye," she said. And on the morning of his birthday, 4 years later, which was 25th of October, the boy cycled back down the Fabriconi Road. He slowed down when he approached the Third Telegraph pole, and he wondered whether the girl would still be there. And then he came to the Third Telegraph pole, and she was there. She waved to him. "Hello," she said, and he waved to her and said hello. He got off his bicycle and it fell into the dust, and he walked up to her. "My," she said, "happy birthday. You are a fine, handsome fellow." "Thank you," he said. I've come here to ask you to be my girlfriend." "Well," she said, "you're 18, but I'm 23, and my friends will say that I've stolen you from your mother, and they will be rude to me. I don't care. I will protect you. I won't throw stones. I will punch them in the face. Look how strong I am." "You are indeed very strong, but I don't think that's a very good idea. I think it would be a better idea if you came back and asked me to be your girlfriend once you've done your 3 years army training." "You're trying to trick me," he said. "Then I'll be 21 and you'll be 26. You're still too old for me." "No, it's different," she said. "You'll be a soldier then and a man, and 5 or 6 years won't make any difference. No one would dare say anything." "Very well," he said. "I'll see you in 3 years' time." And the boy got on his bicycle and he waved to her goodbye, and she waved back to him goodbye, and he cycled off to join the army. He was a good soldier, hard-working, very good at saluting, and he got to be corporal, which was 2 red stripes. But on the morning of his final day, the sergeant came in and said to him, "Why don't you stay on for another couple of years? I can see that you're a very good soldier. You might even make sergeant like me, and you will have 2 gold stripes on your arm. The girls love gold stripes. You can have as many girlfriends as you want." "But Sergeant, I don't need many girlfriends. I only want just the one, and she's waiting for me. But thank you. Please, may I have my discharge papers?" "Oh, all right, here they are." The boy took his discharge papers and tucked them into his uniform. And he was so keen to get back to Fabriconi that he got onto the bike and cycled away in his uniform. And it was a hot summer's day, and the sun was high in the sky like a giant fireball, and it was so blue it hurt your eyes. As he approached Fabriconi, he slowed down. He wondered whether she'd still be there. No, she wouldn't be, surely. She'd be married by now with children. But there was the Third Telegraph pole, and there she was, waving to him and smiling and saying hello. So he waved back and said hello, and he got off his bicycle, which fell into the dust, and he walked up to her. "My," she said, "what a handsome soldier you are." "Thank you," he said, "but I've been cycling all day. May I have a few of your juicy yellow plums?" "Oh," she said, "I'm sorry. The plum tree burnt down." "Who would do such a thing?" said the boy. "Oh, no, it was an accident. There was a fire in the barn where we kept the hay, and in another building, and soon all the orchard was burnt down." "I'm sorry to hear that," said the boy, but you're all right, aren't you?" "No, I'm afraid I'm not," she said. "I'm sorry I couldn't save the plum tree." And the boy looked at the girl, and through her body he could see the telegraph pole. And when he reached out to touch her forehead, all he could feel was the wood of the telegraph pole. "I'm sorry," he said. "Did that hurt?" "No, not at all," she said. "But if you don't mind, I'd like to go now, if I may. I just came back so that you wouldn't think I'd forgotten." The boy looked at the girl. Her beautiful blue eyes were like the Italian sun, but soft, not hard. And he could hear and feel his heart beating under his uniform. "Well, will you still be my girlfriend?" he said. The girl smiled. "I will, thank you." "I'll be off then," said the boy. He got on his bike. He waved to her goodbye and cycled away to Fabriconi. And he looked back and she was waving and smiling. And the next day he came back and there she was again at the Third Telegraph pole on the road to Fabriconi. And she waved to him and smiled and said, "Hello." And he waved to her and smiled and said, "Hello." And he did that every day for the rest of his life.
Oh.